Hey, good morning. You know, it's one thing to stay sober while you're going to meetings. You're hanging out with people in recovery. You're talking to your sponsor. That hour that you're in the meeting, it's real easy to remain sober. But what about the other 23 hours out of your day? There's a lot of things that happen. That's what we're going to talk about here today. The other 23 hours. You know, it's easy to look at those 23 hours as difficult. But to be honest with you, it's not difficult. It's an opportunity to practice the principles that you've been learning during that 1 hour out of your day. If you can learn to practice the principles of the program, the other 23 hours is not that difficult at all. It's a way of life. It's a way of life. So anybody that's watched my videos at all knows that I start my mornings out here on the beach walking. I feel that connection with God. So there's my beginnings of my day. I do my prayer and meditation out here. That other 23 hours, I start it right here. And it's a good way to begin. Now, throughout the day, things come up. You know, and in early sobriety, I would maybe call someone, hey, something just happened, dude. What do I do, Call my sponsor, another fellow alcoholic. Those people can be very helpful in the beginning. But after a while, it gradually becomes a working part of the mind. You know, I think I got to the point finally where I was like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I should call my sponsor, but I already know what he's going to say. So why don't I just go with what I figure he's going to say? You know, after a while, you get to where you know what they're going to say. Now, there are certain social situations where it's best to discuss it with someone else before going. For example, weddings and, parties and things like that. You know, we can't expect the people around us to not drink just because we're sober. No, especially in this society. You know, it's almost like you're expected to drink. And that can put pressure on us as sober people. You know, I don't think you have to be an alcoholic to feel the pressure of alcohol in this world, especially in social situations where other people are drinking. They seem to be able to do it and have a good time and, not get in trouble. Good for them, not me. So anyway, those social situations, I've heard many times, bring someone with you. My big question is, why? Why are you going? Is it that important? And if it is, then let's create a game plan, a plan to deal with those awkward situations where you're offered a drink. Now, I can remember in early sobriety sitting with some other fellow alcoholics talking about, okay, so if somebody comes to you and says, hey, what do you have to drink? Or can I fix you a drink? Or, we've got 2-for-1 cocktails, that kind of thing. What do you do? What do you say? No. No thanks. No thanks. That's a complete sentence. That's what I always heard. No is a complete sentence. Doesn't require an explanation. However, for some reason, especially in early sobriety, we feel like it deserves an explanation. Like, no, you see, the last time I drank, some really bad stuff went down. No, you don't have to go through all that. One of the best ones that I heard was, no thanks, I've got to be in Albuquerque by Tuesday. In other words, if I take that drink, there's no way I'm making it to Albuquerque by Tuesday. I think my favorite, though, that I used many times was, no thanks, I've had enough already. And that's no lie. I've had enough already. Now, you say that to a waitress, no thanks, I've had enough already. They're going to drop the subject like a bad habit because they don't want to push drinks on you. You know, if you say you've had enough already, then that's that. They do not want to get you overindulged. So, anyway, that's one area. I was at a wedding once, and this was in early sobriety, and I had stepped away from the table for something, and I come back to my spot, you know, and they've got assigned seating or whatever. I come back to my seat. As I'm sitting down, I realize there's a glass of champagne sitting right in front of my chair. So as I'm sitting down, I realize that everyone else is standing up around me. Talk about awkward. So I stood up, and everybody grabbed their glass of champagne and held it up to toast the bride and groom. Well, it all happened so fast. I really didn't know what to do. And so what I did was I reached out, spilled the glass of champagne, knocked it over right there on the table. I grabbed my glass of water and I toasted the bride and groom, took a little sip of my water, and then started cleaning up the mess. A hell of a lot less of a mess than had I drank that champagne. I can tell you that right now. You know, I've embarrassed myself in social situations, and I've embarrassed the people around me. I'm glad those days are over. So let's get back to that question of why? Why are you going? Well, in that particular situation, that wedding, it was my nephew's wedding. I'm part of the family. You know, just trying to show respect. That went okay. But what about those situations where you put pressure on yourself that I have to go? Like, for example, the company Christmas party. That's a big one. You know, I've heard it many, many times. Man, I have to go. It's a company Christmas party. Well, the truth is you don't have to go. If you don't feel comfortable about going, then don't go. Just don't go. I've even heard, well, you know, that's where they give out the Christmas bonus. So, in other words, if you don't go, you don't get a Christmas bonus? I find that hard to believe. So what about just regular life? You know, alcohol is pretty much everywhere. It's unavoidable. You stop for gas, they sell alcohol. You go to a restaurant, they're serving alcohol. You look at the TV, there's commercials for alcohol. It's inevitable. You're going to run into opportunities. But those are opportunities. Those are opportunities to practice the principles of the program. I heard a speaker the other night say that, he said, it's my will to drink, and it's God's will that I don't drink. And what's one of the major principles of this program is to seek God's will. And it is not God's will for me to drink. It's God's will for me not to drink. You know, back in the day when I was drinking, I would drink no matter what. No matter what. Today, I stay sober. No matter what. I heard one time somebody say, what do you do if it turns out Chicken Little was right? The sky really is falling. What are you going to do? I guess you're going to just let it fall. I don't have to get involved in it. I don't have to try to stop the sky from falling. I just have to survive it somehow, or not. The point is, some of these things we have no control over, what happens outside of us. But we do have control over how we react to it. Yeah, you go to pay for your gas or your coffee or whatever at the convenience store, and there's a barrel full of ice cold beer sitting right next to the register. I've seen it many, many times. Am I going to start shaking in my shoes over that? Definitely not. Definitely not. My reaction is completely different than it used to be, and it's because of the program that I work. Recovery is a 24-hour-a-day thing, not just an hour a day. So the other 23 hours provides me with opportunities that are limitless opportunities to practice the principles of a program that makes me happy, joyous, and free. That's what I want for each and every one of you. To be sober, number one, but to experience being happy, joyous, and free. I hope you guys are feeling that way today. Thanks for joining me down here on the beach, and you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.